When I reviewed MLB The Show 20, I praised it as the best baseball simulation around, while dinging it for playing too safe, recycling visuals, and leaning on marginal improvements instead of taking real swings. 6 years later, I'm getting deja vu. Despite giving MLB The Show 21 a standing ovation for finally starting to mix up the formula in its jump to next-gen at the time consoles, I'm now sitting here with MLB The Show 26, struggling to articulate what's meaningfully different from the last few years. The iterative additions are better than usual this year, especially in franchise mode, but the foundation hasn't moved an inch. And I can't help but feel like MLB The Show 26 is little more than another full-priced update for the same live service game that we've been playing since the 2010s.
This one in the air, center field. Junior settles under this one.
To its credit, MLB The Show 26 still plays excellent baseball. The core simulation remains the most convincing recreation of the sport in any video game, and developer San Diego Studio hasn't regressed the way Madden and NBA 2K have in recent cycles. And if you've never touched MLB The Show before, this is the best entry point the series has ever offered.
Just a very well executed ball game.
A streamlined first-time setup walks you through every hitting, pitching, and fielding interface before you throw a single ball. But if you have played before, even as far back as the Show 21, that familiarity has inevitably become the problem. The approachable onboarding is wasted on people like me, those who've been here for years and are still waiting for a reason to feel like they haven't. This year's gameplay additions don't do much to close that gap. Bear down pitching is the headliner, a system that rewards you for consistently throwing strikes and racking up strikeouts by banking special high-accuracy pitches that you can deploy in clutch situations.
Now, he's showing us why he's lasted in the big leagues.
Yes, it does tie into your pitcher's clutch rating, and in practice, it meaningfully tightens your command. Pitching as Seattle's Brian Wu, I could feel the difference when a bear-down pitch locked inside the zone with an accuracy I wasn't getting on standard throws. It's the most interesting mechanical addition in years, and the one thing I'd point to as a genuine reason the on-field game feels at all sharper. Less impressive is big zone hitting, which simplifies the PCI to broader quadrants of the strike zone. I hit more balls into play than I expected, but it trades the surgical precision that made zone hitting rewarding for something flatter. More contact, fewer moments where I earned anything with my swing. There's also a depth of field toggle that blurs the background while batting, and PitchCom, which pushes pitch call audio through the DualSense controller speaker when playing on PS5, a nifty trick that doesn't actually move the needle. The under-the-hood models now incorporate real-world pitch usage rates, meaning your pitcher's less frequently thrown offerings are harder to locate. That one's subtle and good, but the list of new mid-match stuff doesn't stretch much further than that, and 2 smart tweaks alongside a handful of toggles is not a $70 leap from last year, it's a patch. Road to the Show has received the most visible additions, though Visible is doing some heavy lifting here. The addition of 11 new colleges and the officially licensed NCAA College World Series gives the early career arc more texture than it's ever had. Meanwhile, Smart Sim, which lets your OVR rating drive simulated stats so you can skip games without torpedoing your career, respects your time in a way previous entries didn't, and getting automatically pulled back in before a big moment is the kind of attention that this mode has needed for years. That said, the college experience is still thin. Rather than playing through multiple seasons, you skip straight to your junior year and are dropped right into the College World Series. It's a prologue dressed up as a chapter. And while Road to the Show has never been better at keeping you moving forward, the story surrounding that progression is still functionally non-existent. Yeah, you'll see text boxes. Yeah, you'll continue saying, "Yes, coach," "No, coach," "Talk to me again next season, coach." And boy, the animations during these conversations are stiff. Look, I said this in my The Show 20 review, and I'm saying it again here now. There is no narrative here, and at this point, I don't think there ever will be.
Watch this one go. This ball is gone, and they win the game.
Diamond Dynasty launches with a ton of content, as it has in previous years. The World Baseball Classic integration delivers WBC-themed cards across multiple programs, a WBC Conquest map, and a tournament bracket that ties Diamond Dynasty's card building directly into the international event, just to scratch the surface. If content volume is your metric, it's here, but volume has never been Diamond Dynasty's problem. The grind that makes all that content feel like a treadmill has. For example, the Deluxe Edition for its part undercuts the mode's competitive balance right out of the gate. Because we were sent the digital deluxe version for this review, I started with Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, and other top-tier cards already in my lineup. A significant head start that standard edition buyers don't get. Diamond Dynasty challenges also prevent duplicate players from appearing on both sides, which is fine in theory, but in practice it means whoever has the better roster and hosts the match claims the top cards first. In a crossplay challenge with my friend, she couldn't even field players that she had on her roster who I was already using, and because the Deluxe Edition had front-loaded my lineup with the best options in the game, that restriction technically fell on her. And since she wasn't even able to substitute her pitcher, it was far too easy to make quick work of her in the second half. Team Affinity has been restructured to 2 programs per team for the full year, with every franchise offering a hitter captain and pitcher captain from launch. And the parallel mod system, where you choose which attributes to specialize in as you level a card, adds genuine roster building decisions. These are real improvements. They'd be easier to celebrate though if the mode's entry point wasn't already tilted toward whoever spent more at checkout. You can still earn everything through gameplay by completing challenges, grinding programs, and selling cards on the community market, but what's changed, and not for the better, is a quietly introduced 20-card ownership limit that wasn't disclosed before launch. If you relied on card flipping and roster update investing as part of the free-to-play grind, one of the most accessible paths to building a competitive team without spending, this directly undermines your strategy. The lack of transparency around it is a bad look, and it's hard not to see it as a nudge towards spending real money. The franchise mode Trade Hub is the single best addition in MLB The Show 26. Everything trade-related now lives in one centralized interface. Rumors, pending offers, player valuations, and deal pursuit. You can shop players around, set untouchables, track what other GMs are doing, and participate in bidding wars. Running the Seattle Mariners, I invested in Brian Wu and Randy Arozarena as cornerstones and monitored which teams were shopping their assets. And honestly, it felt more like an RPG bartering system than the spreadsheet that it used to be. Seriously, good job, guys. Though, the trade-off is that March to October is now gone, replaced by a streamlined experience that doesn't fully cover the same ground. Franchise mode still doesn't offer a manager-only or GM-only option, and there's no spectate or one-pitch mode for players who want the management without the at-bats. Remarkably, there's no way to transfer Road to the Show or franchise saves from past entries. The same issue I flagged in my The Show 21 review. And par for the course, any custom stadiums that you built in previous games don't carry over either. The stadium creator itself feels basically unchanged from when it debuted in The Show 21, which means the same clunky controls and the same limitations I noted back then are still here now. At least the Trade Hub is useful and convenient now. Everything else about the franchise mode is the same game I've been playing since 2020, minus a few things it used to have. Visually, MLB The Show 26 looks the same as it has for years. Player models, stadiums, and animations are all broadly identical to what I played on the PlayStation 4 Pro when I originally reviewed MLB The Show 20 in 2020. Sure, jersey physics are nice, and stadium lighting has seen marginal improvement, but aliasing is still visible, crowd detail lags behind other current-gen sports titles, and there are no PS5 Pro enhancements. A strange omission for a first-party PlayStation game in 2026. Let's look at the character creator, for example. My created character in Road to the Show is technically supposed to be me. He has my bone structure the way that a police sketch has a suspect's bone structure. It's close enough to be unsettling, but far from close enough to be accurate. The face scanning technology in MLB The Show 26 still looks like it belongs in the PlayStation 3 era, and the result on my end was an amorphous blob that wears my jersey number and runs bases for me. Use it at your own discretion. Cross-play multiplayer between my PlayStation 5 and my friend's Series X worked, but with caveats. Just setting up a basic casual match required navigating deep into some menus that were not as user-friendly as I would have hoped. Once in, batting on my end had noticeable sync issues. The ball rubber-banded just before the zone, making it hard to read pitch direction. Outfielders occasionally refused to throw back to the plate after a catch. Other players have also reported similar teleporting fastball problems in online ranked modes. Commentary also remains the weakest link. The majority of lines still feel recycled from the past few entries.
Into the bleachers and gone. A home run.
And for what it's worth, somehow the batting cage minigame is worse than it's ever been. But hey, at least the deftly crafted Negro League Storylines mode returns for a 4th season, spotlighting legends like Roy Campanella, Mamie Johnson, John Henry Lloyd, and George Suttles. The produced video segments remain some of the most meaningful content in any sports game, genuinely worth your time. The gameplay challenges tied to those stories, however, are still, at best, bare minimum scenarios. You get a base hit, you strike someone out, don't allow a run, maybe win a couple of innings, but ultimately the mode's value is almost entirely in those videos, not in the playing. Yeah, sure, it's fun to earn those players as cards in Diamond Dynasty, but the history deserves more than that.
And that ends the inning.
MLB The Show 26 is a competent, iterative update to a series that has been making competent, iterative updates for the better part of a decade. The Trade Hub is a genuine improvement, Road to the Show's amateur phase is the most fleshed out it's ever been, and Diamond Dynasty launches with more to do than any previous entry. But the visuals haven't evolved, the story in Road to the Show is still absent, crossplay has rough edges, and the undisclosed 20-card ownership cap in Diamond Dynasty feels like a step backward for the game's most dedicated, no-money-spent community. If you skipped the last 2 or 3 entries, there's enough here to justify coming back, but if you bought the Show 25, then you already own most of this game.
In the air, out towards right center.
For more action, check out our reviews of WWE 2K26 or Mario Tennis Fever. And for everything else, stick with IGN.